The cargo bay of the Pathfinder hummed with its usual noise. Hydraulics hissing, clamps locking, pumps sighing. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation rail and watched the Critian delegation prepare to leave her ship Dot after 3 weeks of negotiations. She could read their mood. The ripples along their silver shoulders, the way their ears angled away from the crew disgust, and eagerness to be gone. One figure sat apart near the loading ramp, pressed against a cargo crate. It was Critian too, but smaller. Its fur a deep charcoal broken by uneven darker patches. Its ears drooped, and wide amber eyes followed the pack with a brittle hope that made Sarah's jaw clench. They won't even say goodbye, she thought. Captain Jake Morrison, her first officer, stopped at her shoulder. The Critians are requesting immediate departure clearance. They seem agitated. Let them wait, Sarah said. Tell me about the kid. Jake flicked open his datapad. Designation CRE7, listed as developmental anomaly in Critian culture. That darker fur is considered a defect, he grimaced. They logged it as a laborer when they boarded. This morning they reclassified it as non-viable cargo. They're abandoning it here. Standard procedure. She asked. Yeah. The law allows resource reclamation when a member's contribution is judged insufficient. His mouth tightened. They leave them behind. Sarah gripped the rail. She'd seen a lot across a dozen sectors. The one thing that never stopped angering her was how easily people decided. Someone else was expendable. That's a child, she said. Chronologically about 14 standard years, Jake replied. By their law, that's a child, she repeated. Jake recognized the set of her shoulders. What do you want to do? Open a translator channel, Sarah said. I'm going down there, up close. The young Critian looked even smaller. Ribs showed under the dark fur. A raw patch marked one shoulder, where a harness had rubbed. Its whole body tensed as Sarah approached, as if braced for a blow. Hey, she said quietly. The implant at her throat converted the words into Critian tones. I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the guild ship Pathfinder. What's your name? The juvenile's ears twitched. Designation CRE7, the translator rendered. Inventory unit. That's not a name, Sarah said. That's something you stamp on a crate. She crouched so their eyes were level. I asked what you want to be called. It stared at her, amber eyes wide. Sarah waited. I do not choose, it said at last. The pack assigns, always. Well, this time you choose, Sarah said. She turned one hand palm up, a human gesture of offering. What would you like us to call you? Very carefully, it placed a 3-fingered paw against her palm, claws tucked away. Krr, it said. Short designation. It is. Lighter. K. Sarah repeated. The pack is leaving. K said. Not a question. Yes, Sarah said. Did they tell you that? I am defective, the translator hummed. The pack has no place for imperfection. I slow efficiency. Do you want to go with them? Sarah asked. Silence stretched. Cargo loaders whined. Clamps released. Announcements echoed from the station beyond. At last, in a voice so soft the translator almost missed it, K said. No. Good, Sarah said. Kr's ears lifted, startled. Good. From what I've seen, your pack wouldn't recognize potential if it bit them on the tail. She said, "Here's my offer. I need a junior systems operator. Standard guild pay. Small but private quarters. My crew doesn't care what color your fur is. You work hard, you learn, you treat my people with respect, and they'll do the same. Interested? I have no credentials," Krub blurted. "No training. The pack says I am too slow." "The pack," Sarah cut in, "just tried to abandon a 14-year-old because they don't like how you look. I don't care what they think." She stood. "I'm not asking for certificates. I'm asking if you want a place where you belong. Yes or no?" K's eyes shone. "Yes," it said. "Yes, Captain. Welcome to the Pathfinder Systems Trainee," Sarah said. "Let's make it official before your former pack gets ideas." The pack leader was waiting at the base of the ramp. Thrax was huge even for a Critian. Muscles shifting under silver fur, claws half extended. His ears were pinned flat, and the air smelled faintly metallic. "Human," he growled. The translator turned it into words. "The defective remains pack property. You have no authority, according to station logs," Sarah said, showing her wrist display. "You filed CRE7 as abandoned cargo less than an hour ago. Under guild law, abandoned cargo in port is eligible for salvage. I'm claiming them." Thrax's fur bristled. "You cannot treat a crit as salvage," he snapped. "The council will be interested to hear that you're abandoning juveniles at trade stations," Sarah said, and then objecting when someone rescues them. "I've already filed the notice with station control. Chris is now a registered crew member of the Pathfinder." She met his gaze. "If you have a problem with that, take it up with the guild tribunal." For a moment he looked ready to strike. His claws slid fully out, catching the bay lights. Ka flinched behind her. "Something wrong, Captain?" Jake asked, stepping to her side. His hand rested near his sidearm. Behind him appeared Marcus Hale, chief engineer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, and Torres, security lead. Sarah didn't break eye contact with Thrax. "No problem," she said. "Our business is concluded. The Pathfinder is withdrawing hospitality." She took a half step closer. "Your loss," she said softly. "Now get off my ship." For a breathless second, everything froze. Then Thrax spat a word the translator refused to render and turned away. His pack flowed after him in a silver wave. Not one of them looked at K. Only when the docking clamps cycled and the Critian shuttle detached did Sarah let out a slow breath. She glanced down. K was still shaking, but its ears were angled forward now. "Still want the job?" she asked. "Yes," K said. "More than before." "Good. First, medical, then engineering." Sarah gave it a brief smile. "Engineering smells terrible, but I think you'll like it." "Like engineering?" K echoed. "Trust me," Sarah said. "You're going to fit." 3 months later, Sarah stepped into engineering and almost collided with a maintenance drone. "Cut power to the auxiliary loop," Marcus shouted from under an open panel. "No, not that one, the other. The other auxiliary loop is mislabeled," K's voice answered. "It is a redundant feed from the primary. Cutting it will spike the main grid." Sarah followed the sound. Engineering looked like organized chaos. Open access hatches, conduits, tools everywhere. At a central console, crouched with a diagnostic harness strapped across its chest. The dark fur that had once hung in ragged patches now lay sleek. Its eyes flicked between displays, paws moving in quick, precise motions. We can smooth the surge if we shift the timing on the secondary regulators. By 0.03 seconds, K said. Output remains stable. Load on the primary drops. Do it, Marcus said. If we blow another regulator, we'll be bartering for parts until next cycle. K made the adjustment. The hum of the plasma conduits climbed, then settled into a smoother thrum. Warning lights flipped from amber to green. The drones zipped back into their docks. Efficiency up 12%, K reported. K's being modest, Marcus said. Then spotted Sarah, captain on deck. The engineers glanced up briefly, then went back to work. Marcus jabbed a thumb at K. The kid found a timing error in our schematics and rewrote half the power routing. We've been chasing that surge pattern for 2 years. K's fur rippled with pleasure. The numbers did not match the output, it protested. It was obvious to you, Marcus said. The rest of us were just swearing at the diagnostics. Sarah felt warmth uncurl in her chest. This was why she loved her ship. Misfits and strays turning into specialists. The moment someone believed in them, good work, she said. Both of you, thank you, Captain, K said. Actually, Sarah added, I came with news. K, as of now, you're promoted to systems specialist. Pay raise, full privileges, and your own quarters on deck 3. K froze. My own quarters? It echoed. On a crew deck? On a crew deck, Sarah confirmed. You've earned it. For a moment, K seemed unable to speak. For rippled in waves, ears flicking through meanings the translator didn't bother to interpret. Finally it managed. Thank you, Captain. I will not fail. You're allowed to sleep, Marcus muttered. Sarah watched K try to hide its joy. She could see the memory of the cargo bay in the way its paw hovered over the console, as if afraid someone might change their mind. She thought of Thrax and his pack somewhere out in the dark, convinced they had cut loose a useless burden. Maybe, once in a while, one of them wondered what had happened to CRE-7. Probably not. That was fine. Their loss had become the Pathfinder's gain. More importantly, it had become K's life. In the end, Sarah thought. Watching her newest specialist dive back into the tangle of systems, that was what mattered. Not the pack's narrow standards, not cold efficiency calculations. What mattered was the stubborn idea that everyone deserved a chance to prove themselves. Other species called it sentimental foolishness in a harsh galaxy. Humans had another word for it. They called it crew.